This is Captain Dave and Miss Brooke with Simple Plan Trucking. We're here at the Loves Travel Center in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We've been here about since yesterday morning, more than 24 hours after we dropped a Hershey load. We came over here, parked up, and we're going to be rolling out of here in about an hour, headed over to Kennett Square to pick up a mushroom load, headed down with to two stops, one in Jacksonville and one in Orlando. We asked for a load to Florida because my CPAP is acting up, and luckily enough I have a second machine at home. I get mine from the VA and not from Prime. So when there's a problem, I have to have it fixed at VA, but I had a new machine shipped to the house. I'm just going to stop by the house, pick up the other machine, and I should be good to go. So we'll be rolling out here in about an hour, going over to Kennett Square, picking up our load. I'm going to drive today. It's raining, kind of nasty outside, get us down south of DC, and we have a lot of time on this load. We really don't have to deliver it until 4 a.m. on Monday morning, so we'll have to park up probably in the Carolinas or in Georgia, and then early Friday morning I'll take us on in. Things are going well. We're doing all right out here on the road. We've had some stops along the way, a death in the family. As I said in my last video, my father passed away, and so we were off the road for a few days, luckily before he passed, to spend some time with him, spend some time with my mom, and so now it's just working out all the details with that and getting her set up, which she's in pretty good shape in Ohio. So she's blessed to have my sister and her husband living close by to help her in whatever way she needs. If you see Brooke in the background, she's getting things put up on the truck. She may step forward here and make a comment or two, but we're not using our microphones today. We had a connection problem with them, and actually I already recorded this video once and found out that it did not record. The audio didn't record, so I haven't figured the problem out, and I didn't want to risk that happening again. So we're going with the microphone that's on the phone. I hope you can hear me okay. I wanted to talk today about how things are going at Prime. I've watched a couple videos, many videos from other YouTubers, and talked to a lot of truckers, both solo drivers and lease drivers, company and lease drivers, and solo and team. And across the board, I think everybody generally agrees that the revenue is down. Maybe the number of loads are down too, but the biggest consensus I can get from talking with all the people that I talk to is pretty much revenue is down about 20%. Hold on just a minute. Okay, I'm back. We just had somebody come up to the truck and ask for some help with something. So I think that generally speaking, everyone kind of agrees that revenue's down probably around 20%. Certainly for some drivers it's more. In our case, I think it's probably less. We have been blessed to have good loads and stayed busy pretty much all the time. Today is an example of a situation that doesn't usually happen for us. The load that we got, probably because we asked for a load to Florida, it wasn't probably where they were planning to send us, but we ended up having to wait a whole day to get this load, and there's plenty of time on the load. It pays pretty well, but it's not that the revenue is less. It's just that the amount, with us not driving since yesterday and then having a whole extra day before we can deliver it, that's going to affect our income as well. So I think that I've watched a few videos which I think can be scary for a lot of people, concerning. A couple drivers that I think a lot of, and they were just very candid and said that they're not making money right now. One of them said they're not making any money at all, and the other one said that his revenue is way off, and he's had some problems with his trucks, and just things in life have happened to cause his the money in his pocket to go down. And I think we all need to take a breath and step back, because it's bad times happen. We know that all the time, and ups and downs in the market happen. But still, I think that when you talk to people that are independent truckers, certainly, and even truckers that work for other companies, being at Prime is a real asset right now. We're probably doing better than a lot of other truckers are out there, just because we have the power of Prime behind us. You know, as we know, in busy markets, or when the money's there, when there's plenty of freight and the rates are high, people always kind of chuckle at Prime and say, why are you taking that low paying freight? But I bet you those people wouldn't be saying that now when they're making the money that we're making, or even less, because they just can't get the loads that we can. You know, Prime's power comes in contract freight, and the contracts stay the same whether times are good or times are bad. So we're blessed to be here. And I'd say a couple of things, just some tips that I would offer, or some ideas that you might consider. The first one is, this would be for either teams, or this would be for either lease or company drivers, more so lease than company. But make sure that you understand make sure what's going on with the load before you say yes or no. And I'll give you an example of something that happened to us yesterday is a perfect example of where we could have gotten off track and we ended up with a great load. This is actually 2 days ago when we accepted this Hershey load. So when the load was offered, it didn't pick up until the next day, 24 hours from where we were. And then there was so much time on the load that we were going to have an extra 24 hours before we could deliver on the back end. So 48 hours on a really good paying load. I mean, it was, when you figured it out by the mile, it was over $3 a mile. We didn't have a problem with the revenue. It was fantastic. But we really didn't want to sit for 48 hours. So all I did was send a note back to my fleet manager on Qualcomm. Actually, I used my phone and I said, hey, you know, is this the best there is? We love the load, but there's an awful lot of time on it for us. And he quickly responded and said, oh, hold on, I want to check on this, but I think that the load is ready right now. You can pick it up, and they'll take it as soon as you get it there. Well, that completely changed the equation for us. Of course we took that load. We picked it up about noon, and we delivered it about 6 a.m. the next morning, drove through the night, and it was a great load. We made a lot of money on it. So, you know, before you push that button that says you're going to refuse a load, make sure that you have a conversation with your fleet manager. Just check and make sure if there's anything else that I need to know about it. Is there anything different than what is coming across, you know, on the load assignment? And I've had that happen more than once. And even sometimes it'll say, you know, that you can't deliver early. And I ask, and they'll say, oh, you actually can. Or, you know, when you get closer, check with the 90 and see if they'll let you bring it in early. And a lot of times they will let you deliver it early. So, you know, money comes from having the wheels turning. So when you're sitting, you're not making money. And we just need to be proactive in doing everything that we can to make sure that that we're making all the money that we can. The other thing I'd say is, I want to be careful how I say this, because our situation is different than many, in that we're a married team. So we have the efforts of 2 drivers going into the same checking account. For us to be profitable and for us to be able to pay our bills and make good money, it's much easier than it is for a solo driver driving as a lease operator or an owner operator. And, you know, owner operators are a little different, but if you're a lease operator in this market, I'm not saying anybody should do this, but I really think sometimes with the rates being the way that they are and the fewer loads, you really need to look and say, if you're consistently making a lot less money than you were a few months ago, there's a possibility that you might want to consider going company until things turn around, because it's all about the amount of money that we make. And people say that it's not, but you know, really that's why we're out here. If we weren't making better money than having a regular job at home, who would choose to stay out here and drive a truck? I think very few people would. We do it as a sacrifice so that we can improve our quality of life by making more money. So it is about the money. And you know, don't close your mind to the idea of driving company until things get better with the market. Prime makes it very easy to make that switch. So if you feel like you're losing money, or if your expenses, which are $1,500 a week that you need to make before you put money in your pocket, maybe you're not making that much money right now. If you're paying $1,500 a week to put $600 or $800 in your pocket, then you absolutely can consider driving as a company driver. They're going to pay you by the miles. And people would say, well, they're going to be chasing those miles and there aren't as many loads, and where you probably wouldn't make as much as a company driver either. Maybe not. Maybe the company drivers are not making as much right now either, but they don't have that big payment that they have to make every week before they make a single dime. So I love being Lease. We're not switching because we're still doing fine as a team, but I would offer up that maybe some of you that are really struggling might consider that, and then come back to Lease when the market turns around. You sure don't want to leave. I think Prime's a great place to be, and I'd hate to see anybody that likes it here go somewhere else and be unhappy, and then not be able to get back here when things get better. So that's really all I'd say. I don't want to overreact. I don't want people to think that we're saying the sky is falling, because it's not. I mean, again, we're still doing very well, but I know some people are hurting out there, and I talk to a lot of folks and get a lot of input, and people that have been trucking much longer than we have. And I have been in business a lot in my life, and really it comes down to the bottom line. Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees because we're so hung up with what we're doing. If I were a solo driver, if my wife wasn't driving with me, and I was making less than $1,000 some weeks in my pocket, I would seriously consider switching over to driving company, because I think it's pretty easy to make $1,500 a week as a company driver. You should be able to get enough miles to do that. If I'm wrong, company drivers, please tell me that in this market maybe you are not making $1,500 a week. But I can tell you that even when times are plush, even in our best times, there have been weeks where we made less money than that. Mm-hmm. But the other side of that is there are also weeks where we made $10,000 or $12,000, not in revenue, but in our pocket. So I would offer up to you that this may be a time where you might want to consider that. Be flexible. Make moves. Make it happen for you. Whatever needs to happen to make your life as most profitable, your life to be as most profitable as you can be out here on the road.
Gives you that opportunity, right?
Yeah, they sure do.
To kind of scoot around.
They can. Yeah, they absolutely will. It doesn't matter to them one bit. Now, you may lose a little in the time that it takes to switch over from getting one truck to the other truck, but if you're organized and you can get that truck switched out and coordinate with Success Leasing, you should within a week be able to turn one truck in and get another truck. If you're buying that truck, it's a different situation. But if you're straight lease, there may be some of you that may want to consider driving company for a while. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's really the only message that we had for today. I just wanted to reach out and say hello. We'll be on the road. I'll be driving all night, then Brooke will drive a while in the morning. Tomorrow we'll wake up probably in Georgia, I hope, and we'll be parked up for the day. And we'll make another video tomorrow, and then early on Monday morning we'll start delivering these mushrooms in Jacksonville and Orlando.
What's your next video about?
Well, I don't know. I need a good idea from you. Maybe we'll have a cooking video and have you make one of your scrumptious meals. How about it?
No, but I made a good snack.
What'd you make? Come over here where they can hear you.
Well, I don't want it. I made a good snack. I made that 7-layer dip.
She made a 7-layer dip, which has what? Beans?
Oh gosh, like that party dip.
Beans and onions and cilantro.
It doesn't have onions.
Oh, no onions.
It has refried beans, and it has sour cream and avocado and pico de gallo, and then black olives, and then some cheese. And I just put it all in a container and scoop it with the chips.
It was very good.
It's a good healthy snack.
Very good. And this one got me out of the truck today. We got some exercise. We did some squats and we did some laps around this parking lot. So I'm already feeling skinnier.
A lot of squats.
Do I look skinnier?
swapping our Fit and 15.
Yeah, the Fit and 15, we're not really following the program. We're not doing the calls. We're not doing the weigh-ins, that kind of thing. We're not being good. It just hasn't worked out for us. But we are trying to eat healthier. We're trying to get some exercise now. And so we hope to share our
I
results
think we
with
got a
you.
little spring fever.
Maybe. Something.
That warm weather's juicing us up.
We got
Once
something.
you get started, it feels good, so you want to keep doing
That's right. That's right.
it. Pain feels good.
I don't know about that. All right. Well, that's all we got for now. We're going to get ready to get out of here. Got our inspection going. I got to get Brooke up under the truck and make sure everything looks good. And, you know, but we'll be talking with you soon. This is Captain Dave and Miss Brooke with Simple Plan Trucking. Be safe, and we'll see you out on the road.